speak in conjunction with Susan, and she's a real expert in the area of websites and website optimization. He comes at it from the standpoint of a business owner. So she knows business, and she translates that into skills and to be able to help you to improve your website. And she is the owner of Acceleration Services, and she's had 35 years in technology, and that allows her to speak geek, so she knows all the technology stuff. She's had 12 years in business, and she knows businesses don't care about cutting edge as much as they do the bottom line. And so tonight you're going to learn how to get your net in gear. So thank you, Susan. Thanks for being out tonight.
Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome.
Hi, everyone. We were planning on a PowerPoint presentation, but as you can see, the projector didn't quite make it. So we have a backup plan. For those of us in technology, we know you have to plan for every contingency. So the good news is I have a PowerPoint presentation that I will send you a link to, so you can see all the details as well as the handout. So you are going to learn a lot tonight, so it might go a little overwhelmed in your head, but rest assured that Bill should be taping it. We will have a PowerPoint available for you, so if you miss something, you can always review. So taking a cue from Carrie's presentation, I want you to focus on your future in 2012. Visualize more clients, good clients for you, because we all know in business there are clients that are high maintenance. Does anybody else have those kinds of clients? And you don't want those, right? So what if you could have those kinds of clients pre-screened, have good clients who know pretty much before they even call you that you're a likely good resource for them. Wouldn't that be nice? So that would be a good thing to focus on. So what you're going to learn today is not about the technology, but about what technology can do for your business. And so your focus is thinking at what I'm going to present to you, filtering through what's going to help you to get to those kinds of clients in 2012. Okay? My goal for you tonight is have at least one aha. And there's several people in technology that this is not going to be new to you. But in my 8 years in business and helping businesses with technology, there's still some things that a lot of businesses don't have time to focus on, yes? I mean, you might have heard of something. So my goal is to at least have one thing. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. And the other thing would be have one thing on your to-do list. I don't know about you, but I go to a lot of presentations, and sometimes it's, oh, that was great, and then you get out in the real world, and nothing ends up on your to-do list. So what happens? It doesn't get done. Isn't that funny? So my goal would be that you write down or put in your smartphone or something, one to-do list that's going to help you get to your goals in 2012. Because we do agree, good goal, right? Okay. And we will have time for some Q&A at the end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this kind of as my notes. And there's going to be a couple of things I want to show you. Would have been a lot better on the big screen, but we're going to try and at least get you some visuals here. So, does anybody here need convincing that the internet is important for your business? Everybody's pretty much sure that it has some impact, yes? A few years ago, that was a little bit more convincing. Oh, I don't need that. I've never needed it before, but things are changing. Now it's becoming a vital part of every business. So I don't have to convince you of that. Let me read you a quote. I love this, and actually it comes from one of the training tapes I listened to years ago from Jack Canfield, okay? And he was talking about training, and it was a quote from Macy's training, and they told their employees, to be successful in business is simple. Do everything, be everywhere, and astonish the customer. Simple, right? Well, okay, so let me ask you this. Is it important on the internet to do everything and be everywhere to be successful?
No.
No, and why is that? Because you can't, and you have to be at the right place at the right time. Being everywhere isn't going to help you. So, and we have limited resources, don't we? Limited time, limited money. So we have to be able to focus on what's going to be the most productive. So some of the things you're going to learn today are going to help you focus and screen. Okay.
Not scream.
No, not screen. Screen. Okay, so again, back at plan, we have the flip chart, which I brought just in case.
Ooh.
High tech. Whoops, let's go a little further. There we go. Okay, there are 4 C's. I'm going to go a little higher. There we go. There are 4 C's of internet marketing. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about each of these. The first one is conversion, meaning how many here have a website? You still might. There's still a couple of people that might not, but if you have a website, that's a key part to converting people into a customer on the internet. There's other ways to convert, but we're going to talk about the internet right now. So I'm going to share with you, actually, let me do this one first. Move this over because we're going to focus on the magic formula. Now, Rick has heard me talk about this, and maybe Carrie too. Have you heard me talk about the magic formula?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, this will be new. And let me tell you the story of how this happened. As you heard in Rick's introduction, I've been in technology for 35 years. I graduated with a degree in information services from Davis when they didn't even have a information services department. I had to take classes from all over back in the 70s. And I decided that I was tired of working for corporate America back about 12 years ago. And I didn't know how to start my own business. They didn't teach you about entrepreneurism where I went to school. I don't know about you, but starting my own business was not on my radar screen. And so I was on contract for a Y2K project up at Hewlett-Packard, decided that was it, I'm leaving, and hadn't figured out what I was going to do yet. I think a lot of business owners end up there. They get so sick and tired. In fact, Jim Rohn, one of my favorite speakers, says, we make change for one of two reasons: inspiration or desperation. I was desperate, so I was willing to make a change, not knowing what was going to happen. And so I went to a business event. It was actually the Rancho Cordova Chamber. And we had the chance to do our 30-second commercials. You've done that before, right? And I thought to myself, okay, if I get in front of this group of people, and I was doing seminars, and said, my name is Susan Dakuzaku, and I do seminars in ABC, I looked to the future, and I said, if I said that, the number of phone calls I would get would be 0. And as Jim Rohn says, 0 is not a good number, not in business anyway. So I thought, what could I say in those 30 seconds that would make my phone ring? So this is what I said. I said, hi, my name is Susan Dakuzaku. And before I tell you what I do, I want you to think about the last time you were speaking to a coworker, a potential client, or maybe your boss, and you had a great idea, but you couldn't get that message across. Have you ever had that happen to you? Wasn't that frustrating? You might have felt like you were up a creek without a paddle. Well, I'm in the paddle business. I teach people how to communicate in 30 seconds or less. I happen to be doing a seminar next week, so if you'd like to come by, please see me after. And I also am a member of Toastmasters, so if you want to come join our club, come check it out. Susan Dakuzaku with Acceleration Services. It's about 35, 40 seconds. You know, 2 people came to my workshop. 1 person joined Toastmasters, and actually 2 people came and asked me about doing a brown bag program to share the magic formula with them. And that's where this magic formula came from. Because as I heard the other 50 people do it, I would say only 5 people did an effective job with their 30 seconds. And so that was my first business, was actually teaching people this magic formula. And this is actually going to apply on the internet, because what I found is if you can make websites do the same thing, and people don't visit websites for long stretches of time, you only have about 30 seconds there to do the same thing, that's where this magic formula will apply. So I want to teach this to you so that you will know and how to apply it for website marketing, print ads, commercials, whatever you need for your business. The same thing applies. Okay, the M in the magic stands for the message. You have to decide what you're going to say and focus on in those 30 seconds. Because you can't say everything you do, because one, you can't fit it in, and it's going to be in one ear and out the other for most of us anyway. It's too overwhelming. So you have to focus, I like that word, you have to focus on what your message is. And if you do several things for that audience, focus on the most important message, okay? The A is your audience or your target market. If you're speaking a message, who are you speaking to? Is it to other business owners? Is it to parents? Is it to professional people? Because even if you offer different services, what they want as your target market, the questions they ask might be different. Yes? So that's why for those 30 seconds, focus on who that audience is. Okay? The G in the magic is grab their attention. You know, there's a lot of things going on there. I call it the white noise, all that jibber jabber. How do you hone in on people's attention? You have to grab it somehow. And I mentioned I was a Toastmaster for a long, long time. And what that helped me do was to communicate more comfortably than I did before. In fact, how many people think I'm talking a little fast? I get that a few, I'm not too bad. Usually I get about 50% of the hands up. Well, I say before Toastmasters, we would have been done by now. I spoke really, really fast. But one of the other things I learned from Toastmasters was to be comfortable with humor. I avoided humor speeches like the devil, because it's one thing to stand in front of people, but then one thing to hopefully say something funny and they laugh, but what happens if they don't laugh? Well, you don't want to focus on that. But one of the things I got in Toastmasters is using words to grab their attention. To make you different. If you've read Seth Godin's, I think you mentioned that book, don't you, Rick?
Yes.
His Purple Cow. He says you got to be a purple cow in a brown cow world. If there are a bunch of business people out there and we're all looking, we all have competition, yes. You need to be the purple cow that, oh, wow, that's cool. I better check that out. So how do you grab their attention from your competition? And you call it your wow factor. I call it your wow factor. Some people call it your unique selling proposition. If you sell health services or something that a lot of other people do, what makes you unique, different, a better benefit than your competition to your target audience, and what's the message to them? So again, that's one thing you have to factor in. You have to involve their emotion. Now, I've said 35 years in technology. I'm a very left-brain analytical person. Emotion is not my forte. But one of the things I learned, if you can connect to people on an emotional level, what's in it for them, again, the phone will more likely ring than if you just focused on facts and figures. And good emotional connections are the testimonials of other people. There's other things that we want to do to connect into that. So, and some of the examples will go into examples, but that's an important piece of this formula. And the last, most important thing is the call to action. Once you've got their emotions involved, they know they want you or need you, you grab their attention, what do you want them to do? Call. I can't tell you how many websites I've seen where the phone number is hard to find, or on the contact us page. What happens if I decide to call you and I'm on the about page or something, and your phone number, and then my phone rings, or somebody walks into my office? All of a sudden I get distracted, and I will confess that I lose your attention, and you just may have missed that one opportunity. So again, on your print ads, on everything you do, make sure you have a call to action. Okay, is that pretty clear? Okay, let's go back to my 30-second commercial. Can anybody tell me the gist of that? Anything that they remember? Mark?
Yeah, in Toastmasters.
Toastmasters? Okay, as a call to action?
Well, I'm a Toastmaster too. So I view it as a plug for Toastmasters. We see you as a good speaker, and we think that we can go to Toastmasters and become good speakers too.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody needs to create a to-do list for 2012.
To-do list. Okay. Now, I'm speaking specifically about my 30-second commercial I used as an example. Sorry, wasn't, yes.
Your close was you were going to come and show them your seminar.
Yes. And I tell people that. Do you think it was a coincidence that before I did that 30-second commercial, I just happened to be doing a workshop next week? Right. It's, if you're going to be running an ad or doing something special like speaking in front of a group, have something specific immediately instead of someday I'll have a seminar. You may have lost people, so the call to action. Anything else stick in anybody's mind?
I think you did a very good job of creating the what's in it for me.
Really key thing to learn in Toastmasters. If you ask a question at the beginning of a presentation, and you know it's a rhetorical question, right? It's like lawyers never ask a question they don't already know the answer to. It's like, I know everybody has communication issues, whether it's work or personal related. So I knew the answer. I call it the virtual nod. So if you can ask a virtual question on your website, and you go, oh, that's me. All of a sudden you've got them one step closer to doing business with you. Exactly. One other thing, Carrie?
The other thing that you did that I really love and I think is important is in that short a time, you created a movie in my mind that will continue to play long after you're gone, because I will think of you in a paddle.
You and
and I will picture whatever creek I happen to be in that day.
You know what? Then that's exactly right, because it's a story.
Yep.
And that's the emotional thing I was telling you about. Facts and figures are hard to tell a story. You can tell a story that connects with somebody in 30 seconds or less, again, more likely to do business. I had a lady come up to me over a year after I did that, and she said, "You're the Pebble lady." You know, and that was that purple cow, different than anybody else kind of phrase that stuck with somebody. So again, in your business, and this might be one of those things on your to-do list, is start thinking of phrases that are different. In fact, I had a gal who came to one of my workshops, and she does feng shui consulting. You know what that is? It's about the interior design. And we're trying to think of verbs, because any word that you use in your print, again, you have limited space. You have limited time to catch somebody's attention. So everything in that space should be edited. Carrie, you were commenting on our postcards. We have a little checklist of things that people should be aware of. And believe me, I edited every single word I used and thought of a better word or word that was double duty kind of a thing. What she did was we thought of words that are just different, purple cow. So I think we came up with, in our brainstorming session, with the word feng shui-tional. Okay, we made it up, but that's okay. It's a purple cow word. So a few days later, Rick mentioned we were members of T&I, a networking group. So there must have been a room full of about 80 to 100 business people. And Trish, the owner of the company, was saying, everybody write a adjective about their business on the back of their card, and I'll read a few. You know, professional, you know, accurate, whatever those words are. They're brown cow words, right? Because we should be anyway. Came up with feng shui-tional. Every head in that room snapped. Like, what? What? And I saw, her name was Jody in the back room, because I knew she saw the value in using words that are going to get people's attention. So again, use that formula when you're editing your copy, working on your website, whatever you do, because it applies to everything, okay? Let's talk about, let's see if I can get here. Does anybody have any questions about that before I move on? Pretty clear. Okay, so let's talk. We talked about applying to your 30-second commercial. Business presentation. Again, use that magic formula. Have your purpose in mind. I think that's a key point to anything. What's the call to action? What do you want them to do? What do you want them to get in the message? Have that plan, because if you just get up and talk or just write something down, you probably won't get the result you want, because it wasn't clear to you what you wanted to get a result for anyway. So again, plan that. In fact, I had a client did his website for him, and he does wine consulting, and he was going to run an ad in the bridal directory, which is not a bad idea for him. He sent me the copy. It was awful. One, it was a glass of champagne, not wine. And two, the copy was just words. I mean, there was nothing to catch your eye. And then they put his email address in this printed ad, which to me, you'd rather have the phone number and the website, because nobody's going to go and type your email. You know, it's just, you only have limited space, make better use. He wasn't able to get the copy changed, but I want you to know, when you see somebody proofing an ad for you or a flyer, you'll know, does it have this formula in there with the call to action? What kind of result do you want? Okay, let me see if I can, in those in the back, you might want to move a little forward. I want to show you this, because I think this is a print ad. Actually, it's an insert. I don't know if you can see that. Oh. It's a Sharpay puppy, and it says, some things look good in wrinkles. Okay, emotional, right? Puppies, okay. And then it's for a dry cleaner. Just something that's just different. And there's a little coupon, why pay more, so that's the call to action. So that's kind of a purple cow ad. Okay, let me show you this next one. Okay, I just finished her website a couple of days ago. She's a landscape designer in Menlo Park. Can you tell me what's wrong with that website?
It's too small.
No phone number, right? And to me, the pictures of
Where
she located, excuse me. I know, she says, I like it simple. I said, but we don't even know where you are. If I'm Googling and I'm in New York, I don't know if you service New York until I read the copy, but then I'm done, because my 30 seconds are gone, right? And then plus with the flowers, it's
I thought
like,
she's a florist or something.
yeah, is she a florist? Does she breed tulips? It's not clear. So what we did was, this is her redone website. There's Menlo Park.
Oh, fantastic.
There's his phone number, and this is a slideshow.
A little bit.
Oh,
It's got shine.
There you go.
There you go. There's a slideshow of her landscape designs as opposed to flowers.
A slideshow.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it kind of scrolls through because it's the internet. We can do stuff like that. Print we can't, but we want to take advantage of the technology.
YouTube.
Okay, this is another client. Now, to tell you the story with him, he has this little hole in the wall barbecue place on Power Inn Road, if you know where that is, and this little strip thing. I mean, not very pretty on the outside, but great barbecue. And it's like you can't say, we make the best barbecue in Sacramento, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody says that. So we got some good pictures and we did some testimonials and that kind of thing. But what happens if you go to this website?
There you go. Oh, good.
It's actually an audio. When you go to this website, it goes,
It's a mess.
ribs. I usually don't like audio playing because that gets
Right.
annoying, but that's just short enough.
Sure.
And it's attention grabbing, right?
Mhm.
And it tells the story without saying we make the best barbecue in town. It's called McHugh's Barbecue.
I know we're all gonna go.
I will send you the links.
I'm
But to
putting
tell
that on
you
my
what
Yelp
happened.
bookmarks right now.
So this is one of the example websites I showed to some of my potential clients. A now client called me 8 months after I showed her this and said, what was that barbecue place? We're planning a catering event, because she remembered the ribs. And she wasn't even looking for it, just stuck in her head. Okay, let me do one more for you. This is not as exciting, but what I do is, because some businesses don't need a full-blown website, would you agree? My example is the donut shop. In this age of smartphones and looking for stuff, you have to have something, but you don't need a 5-page website with a slideshow. We kind of know donuts. We want to know where you're located, what time you open, if you're doing a special on Wednesdays, whatever it is. Testimonials from happy clients, yes. So this is we call it a nutshell. We now work on developing one-page websites for some businesses that need a presence, but don't need to pay for a full-blown website. So the reason I'm showing this is kind of going to the next thing. So we actually got this up for Mel. And the thing too is it's got testimonials. Statistics are showing that people are using things like Yelp and whatever to evaluate a business. Because one of my collaborators is Ryan Jack with Reach Local. And the statistics that you're seeing now about people using their smartphones, he says it's typical now. You're watching an ad on TV and you see an ad for something. You don't go to the store the next day. You're on the internet, Googling, looking for testimonials, finding a better price. So before you even step into the door of a business, you've done research on that.
Yep.
Typically.
These also.
Exactly.
Kindle Fire and all of them. People are going to watch TV while they're on there.
Exactly. Or you're walking down, they show you you can scan the barcode of an item, and it'll show you where else it's available. So we're using the phones to do our shopping, and that's why we as businesses need to make sure we're standing out with our message so that when our audience finds us, they can give us a call. We're in the running. We're on the short list. Okay, we're going on to the second C, convergence. It's another fancy word for traffic. If you have the best website in the world, but you're doing nothing to drive traffic there, that could be a problem. Again, as Jim said, you'll probably get 0 phone calls, and 0 is not a good number. Thank you. Okay. There are several different ways to do it, and pull marketing is one. Now, do we all Google or Yahoo or Bing or whatever we do to find stuff? The search engines are being used a lot. So pull marketing is when I, as a consumer, Google something. I'm looking for information, right? Looking for a florist or barbecue place in Sacramento. So I have qualified myself as a potential customer because I'm Googling or whatever. And some people still go to online directories, and some people still use Yellow Pages. It's a smaller and smaller number. So again, as businesses, we need to be aware that we have to have a good presence on the internet. Now, Mark does search engine optimization. So that's one way you could get found by the search engines, is having your website optimized. There's also pay-per-click ads. There's a lot of different strategies. And I'm going to cover the second one, which is push marketing. Push marketing is when you're not looking for something and a banner ad pops up, or you see a little ad over in the MSN website page. And we're not qualified, therefore, it's just kind of like a numbers game. So there's both those strategies, and there's not one better than the other. It depends on your business, your target market, what makes you different, and how much you're spending for it. Free, if you're not spending a lot of time, because I know social media is one of the things you specialize in, and somebody else did too. She's still here? Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, those different strategies, but still it takes resources. So just because it's free doesn't mean it's free, because you're spending time or you're having somebody else spend time doing it. So we're gonna cover in the next part, the third C, that aspect.
Excuse me, I got a question.
Yes?
On the push ad, the ads that just pop up,
Uh-huh.
how many people here find them annoying?
I have them all blocked, so I would
Uh-huh.
know. Yeah.
Or you can block them
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but the push
ad.
ads on
Okay.
the side of like Yahoo and stuff.
Right.
the lower
Well, and one of the things I noticed, because we were,
Sponsored ads.
we have a dog, I know we're late, and over the 4th of July holiday, I saw this article, I think it was on one of those news programs, about a thing called a thunder shirt, which it basically is a little kind of cuddle thing for your dog so they're not as nervous during thunderstorms, and it's supposed to work for fireworks. So I went on the internet and I Googled it, and I found the manufacturer and I actually ordered it, and then all of a sudden I'm on the internet